Hey guys, welcome back to another tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to cover another must-be-true logical reasoning question, and this is going to be the strong variety. And as with most strong must-be-true, it's going to involve deductive reasoning. So let's get started. So you can find this on Preptest 13, Section 2, Logical Reasoning number 10. And it starts off, every political philosopher of the early 20th century was either a socialist or a communist, was influenced by Rosa Luxemburg. No one who was influenced by Rosa Luxemburg advocated a totalitarian state. Now the prompt. If the statements above are true, which one of the following must on the basis of them also be true? So the reason why we know this is a strong must be true because they tell you must also be true. And then we look at the stimulus and it involves a lot of conditional reasoning and you see a lot of logical keyword indicators, and that's how you know that this is going to be one of those things that you're going to have to diagram. Let's get started. Let's hack this thing apart. So premise one. Every political philosopher of the early 20th century was either a socialist or a communist. All right, guys. So every substantiate the entire category. So the word every is a synonym for the word all, any, whenever. Any of those types of keyword indicators substantiate the entire category. So we know we're dealing with an if-then statement. So we can say PP, arrow, S, or C. And remember, in logic, an or statement on the LSAT should always be interpreted as an inclusive term. So what that means is when I tell you you have either A or B, that means you can have one or the other or both. All right, let's go to premise two. So premise two, socialist or communist was influenced by Rosa Luxemburg. All right, so same thing. We can say S or C, arrow, R, L. Okay, so we're done with premise two. So premise three, no one who was influenced by Rosa Luxemburg advocated a totalitarian state. All right, guys, so here's the mnemonic device for the word no. Okay, every time you see the word no, it's functionally the same as the word none. And the word no, the mnemonic for that would be to negate the necessary condition. So we could essentially say RL, arrow, not TS. Remember, negate the necessary condition, and the necessary condition goes on the right-hand side, and the sufficient goes on the left-hand side. All right, so now let's put it together and let's see what we have. So premise 1, 2, and 3, here's what we have. PP, political philosopher, arrow, S or C, and then we can hook S or C, arrow, RL, and then RL we could interact with premise 3, arrow, not TS. So now let's take a look at our conclusions. All right, so it looks like we can draw two distinct conclusions, okay? We can say S or C, not TS. So essentially, like I told you on this area, in this area here regarding the or statement, it's basically saying A or B or both. So you can say A, arrow, not TS, or B, arrow, not TS. In this case, which is a completely parallel form of reasoning, it's S, arrow, not TS, or C, arrow, not TS, or both, arrow, not TS. Okay, guys? All right, so now let's go into the answer choice. So I brought this whole entire deduction to the party so we can use it to cross-reference with the answer choice. All right, so A, no early 20th century socialist political philosopher advocated a totalitarian state. So remember, guys, every time you see the word no, negate the necessary. So no, so that means S, arrow, not TS. And look, that looks like the conclusion right here. So that is the credited answer because we can absolutely deduce this. So A is the credited answer. But let's take a look at B, C, D, and E. So for answer choice B, every early 20th century political philosopher did not advocate totalitarian state, was influenced by Rosa Luxemburg. So it was right up to this point, except they made you go against the arrow in premise 3. So it has to be the other way around. Basically, Rosa Luxemburg did not advocate totalitarian state, not the other way around. So what they did here was they wanted you to commit the fallacy of the converse, going from B to A and A to B. You can't do that. So B is wrong, okay? C, Rosa Luxemburg was the only person to influence every early 20th century political philosopher who was either a socialist or a communist. All right, so again, they're trying to get you to go from premise 3 all the way to premise 1. You cannot go against the arrow. That's the fallacy of the converse, okay? You can't do that. Answer choice D, every early 20th century political philosopher who was influenced by Rosa Luxemburg was not a socialist or a communist. Again, Rosa Luxemburg, socialist, communist, you see how they're trying to get you to go against the arrow again in premise 2? You cannot do that. Again, this is also the converse, fallacy of the converse. So D is also wrong. E, every early 20th century political philosopher did not advocate a totalitarian state, was either a socialist or a communist. Okay, that's also wrong, because here's why. Political philosopher did not advocate totalitarian state, okay, and then all of a sudden they want you to go against the arrow to go back to premise 2, which is socialist or communist, and you can't say that. You can only go in the flow of the direction of the arrow, guys, okay? Keep that in mind. You cannot go against the arrow, okay? Going against the arrow is committing the fallacy of the converse. That's like saying A to B, then B to A. You cannot do that, okay? All right, so it looks like we got this, and it's answer choice A. Answer choice A is the credited answer, okay? And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.